This episode is sponsored by Jacobson Real Estate Company. Are you ready to find your dream home? Or maybe you're thinking about selling and want the best deal possible? Well, look no further. At Jacobson Real Estate Company, we make buying or selling your home smooth, stress-free, and exciting. With 50-plus years of experience and a deep knowledge of the Winona, Minnesota area market, we specialize in turning your real estate goals into reality. Whether it's finding that perfect neighborhood, negotiating top dollar for your property, or answering all of your questions along the way, we're here for you. Plus, with our personalized approach, you're not just a client, you're family. So why wait? Let Jacobson Real Estate Company open the door to your future. Call us today at 507-313-2716 or visit our website at jacobsonrealestatecompany.com. Because your next chapter starts here. Buy, sell, invest. Jacobson Real Estate Company. Welcome to this week's edition of Brews and Crews. I am your host, Chris Jacobson, and today I have a friend on the podcast by the name of Joey Terhune. Sounds like he's a mafia guy.
Yeah, Joey Bag of Donuts. That's what they call me. That's my official mafia name.
Perfect. Yeah. And Joey and I have become friends in the recent comings because he's a friend with one of our good friends as well in our group. And it's really nice to actually know Joey. He's become a really fan favorite amongst some of our friends here just because he's hilarious. And literally when I met you, it felt like I had almost kind of known you because that's how just easygoing you really are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I moved back to the Midwest like last November, and I have a pretty good personality. I'm pretty good socially, so it's easy to meet a friend group like yours that's really welcoming, and we have similar views, and where we can laugh at the same things. It's easy to be friends with those people.
It is,
especially when they're around the same age. We like the same things. So,
and something else we have in common is a love for bourbon. It sounds like because you said I asked you what you wanted, and you said a bourbon. I go, perfect. Yeah. Which sometimes that's pretty fun because then I get to go shop the aisles.
Oh, yeah.
So I picked out the Wise Man for a couple Wise Men here. Yeah. And I already have it pre-chilled, but I know you said you wanted some rocks, so I got you some rocks. Your glass is right here. I'm going to start mine without rocks on the first one just so I can get a feel for the taste. I've never had this one. I don't know if you have.
I haven't, no.
No? Okay, perfect.
It looks fancy.
And there's some ice there for you if you want to put ice in for yourself. Your call.
Ooh. Yeah, sure.
Now, one thing you and me, we actually have in common is the fact that you are from Waterloo, Iowa.
Yeah.
Waterloo, Iowa, and I went to the University of Northern Iowa, which is in Cedar Falls, which is literally right next door to Waterloo. You don't even know you're in the town until you see signs, basically.
Yeah, they're kind of attached. Waterloo, Cedar Falls,
yes.
Like Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's just right next to each other.
Well, let's do a cheers here real quick.
Cheers. Heck yeah.
The Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. How you doing?
You have good impressions. We'll get to that eventually here. Now, the other thing that we actually have in common is that you used to work at a casino called the Isle in Waterloo.
Yep.
And when my parents would come down to visit me at college, they would stay there. And then I would go there as well, go to the pool, gamble a little bit. And that's actually, it wasn't a ginormous casino.
No.
But it was a very clean casino and actually had a really nice little pool area and pretty cool little place. But you used to work there.
Yeah, and also I'll still go down there and stay when I go back to my hometown because their single rooms have these jacuzzi tubs, and I like taking baths, which is I just do.
Okay.
But their bathtubs will fit like 4 people or like 3 Joeys is what I say. And so like there's a conversion factor.
3 Joeys.
But and then they have a bunny suite that has like a bathroom that fits like 20 people in like a hot tub.
Nice.
It's huge. And I was a dealer there for 3 to 4 years, and I dealt all the games, craps, roulette, blackjack, and then all the carnival stuff.
Nice.
It was fun. It gave you kind of a look into how casinos work and how gambling works. But then, at the end of it, you're just a a good gambler. A good gambler. Yeah.
Well, now, dude, what high school did you go to when you're down there? And I'm just kind of familiar with the area because I was in education, so.
Right. So I went to Waterloo East.
Waterloo East.
Yep.
What color were their colors?
They were the Trojans, so they were black and orange.
I think I had to do a field experience there one time because I thought it was black and white, but maybe it was black and orange, and that's just, I thought it was white. But it's been, I don't know, 12 years removed, 13 years removed now. So
well, I think since I left, so there was the Waterloo East Trojans, and then there was the West Wahawks, and then CF, which was the high school there. And then I think since I left, they've now merged into one big conglomerate.
Oh, sure.
So now there's no separate high schools, which is weird. But
maybe I had you. Maybe I was doing a field experience while you were there.
Yeah, right.
Because I know you're a few years younger than me, so I could have been. Who knows? Maybe I saw you at one point.
Well, as a hefty Iowan, I blend in very easily to crowds, so it's not like there's a lot of fat bearded men in Iowa. So
well, now I want to go over this whole casino experience because you said that you're a dealer. Now I've gambled since I've been 18 years old because we can in Minnesota.
Sure.
But I always what games did you deal specific? All of them?
So yeah, I did all of them. I didn't deal poker because that was like a separate entity.
Okay.
So when you first start out a casino, you start off and you have 6 weeks of unpaid training.
Unpaid.
Unpaid. Yep.
Okay.
And they teach you blackjack. They teach you kind of the ropes, and that's what you start off on. And then you get trained on the other games. And the kind of last step in the process is to learn craps and roulette. Because craps is an extremely intricate game. It takes a lot of quick math. There's a lot of formulas you have to do in your head to calculate stuff. And there's over 220 bets on the table, which are all active a lot of times. So, it takes a long time. And then roulette also is a game that you have to take separate training for. And each time that you get like additional training, you get a bump in pay. They give you a bump. But as far as like the dealing world goes, it was good money for. I started when I was like 19, and I was making close to like $28 an hour, which isn't bad.
Well, yeah, considering what year that probably was. What year was that?
That was back in 2011.
Okay, so you're 19 in 2011. I remember when I was working overnights at a hotel around that. I would say it was 2012, 13.
Yeah.
I was overnight at a hotel making like $8.75 an hour. So $19 is pretty good back then. So that's actually damn near good money.
Well, yeah. So the way it works, so different casinos have different styles of, because when you tip the dealers, some of them have where you keep 100% of your tips. Some of them have where you split tips, and then you take a portion home. And then we were split amongst every dealer based on your hours worked. So they basically would take the amount over the 2-week period, do a count of all the tips. They would pour thousands and thousands of dollars on one of the craps tables, and they count it out, and they split it out to an hour differential. So that's what it was for that paycheck.
So question for you, don't answer before I make my guess. Think to yourself, did you like it when you were able to get 100% of the tips, or did you like it when you were able to get it from amongst a big giant split? To me, if I'm you, just because I know your personality, I feel like you would have done really well at just getting individual tips at your specific time slot, so keeping 100%.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like you would like it. What did you prefer?
Well, in Iowa, with the amount of traffic that came through that casino, I would say it was better to have a split tip. Whereas if you're out in like Vegas, where there's big money, because games like craps where there's not that much traffic, they don't make very much money when you're dealing craps, even though it's the hardest game to deal. So like if you were out at a big casino in like Atlantic City or Las Vegas, then I would say keep my own tips, because if you have a high roller come through and they tip you amongst like a good roll, they tip you thousands of dollars. You don't want that going into a pot, And then there are nights where you get stuck on like $5 blackjack for like, because there's a rotation. You change tables every 45 minutes. So there's a rotation of 5 dealers. You got a break. You got a 20-minute break every hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which wasn't bad, which was great. But
But you're on your feet the whole time too.
Correct.
And you're doing math the whole time.
Yeah. So I mean, but there are nights where you get stuck on like $5 blackjack, and there's not a lot of tipping coming
Sure.
through that. So it was better for the landscape that I worked at to have shared tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know your personality. I'm like, you probably were having fun with everyone.
Oh yeah, I would tell dirty jokes on the game.
Yeah.
I'd make fun of people. It was great.
My dad and I, we always gamble on the cruise, and we go up to Treasure Island. And I don't gamble as much as I used to because, I mean, I'm not between 18 and 21. There's nothing to do really in Minnesota. And I'd go there and I'd say dirty things under my breath. I'd be like, oh, we took it dry on that one.
yeah.
And the dealers would sometimes look at us and they would catch what we were saying. And then kind of.
Well, Treasure Island was one of my favorite casinos because you couldn't gamble in Iowa. You could play. You could go to the Indian casinos, and you could play poker and bingo, but you couldn't gamble. So we'd have to drive to Minnesota.
Waterloo, that's not an Indian casino.
No. You have to go to Meskwaki, which is like an hour away.
Ah, so you had to be 21 to gamble there.
Yep.
But you could be 19 to work there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
You just got to get a gaming badge, which is kind of hard. It's a very extensive background check.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So in order to work at a casino, you had to get a gaming badge?
A gaming license.
License,
yeah.
okay.
So and like I said, it's like super high level clearance. Like they do background checks. You have to have your criminal history from the last 10 years. It's like, and then the background check takes like 3 weeks, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. It's more extensive than people think. And I'm sure the bigger states like Nevada, it's probably harder.
Okay, so you don't have a criminal background.
No.
Ah, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Should have background checked
Clean
before
as
you
a
came in
whistle.
here.
Yeah. Don't search my name.
Okay, so now you said blackjack's the first thing you get into then.
Yeah, as a dealer.
Is it the easiest thing then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the easiest, and it gives you a framework on kind of what the casino wants as far as protecting the cards, how to place the cards so the cameras can see what's going on, because you have to be able to show the pips, which are the little symbols on the cards, and stuff like that. So it gives you kind of a base level on how to protect the casino, because you're a part of that that overall risk. Because there are cheaters that go into casinos, and I've actually seen it because my one of my bosses that trained me, he worked out in Vegas, and he worked out at like a Caesars, like a Super Hop In, and he said that it's just the lifestyle burned him out, but he moved out to the Midwest, and he taught me craps, and he had 2 red dice, and the dealer that had the dice slid him 2 red dice, and he swooped his hand, and then 2 die flew into the air, and one of them was green, and I didn't even see the swap, and he did it without us seeing, like, instantaneously. Like so like sleight of hand and stuff like that is something that like you got to watch out for. People will if you turn your head, people will stack their bets, and a lot of times the eyes in the sky don't catch it.
So you have to be watching that where they...
Yeah, and if for some reason you made a mistake, like you swiped someone's chips, they will go back and live review because they have lockdown rooms for the casino security and eyes in the sky, if you will.
There's been a time or two where I got paid when I wasn't supposed to, but I believe it's on a cruise ship, so international waters, I don't care.
Yeah.
They were gonna get it back anyway.
What do you and your dad like to play?
Blackjack.
Blackjack only?
3-card poker too sometimes, but I prefer blackjack. I feel like there's just a little bit more. I have a little bit more control over it ish.
Yeah.
Unless I got a bunch of morons playing at the table, then they piss you off.
Well,
but I might be sometimes I'm probably that guy that gets people pissed off because if the dealer's showing like a 7 and I have a 12.
Yeah.
I might just stay because he has to have at least a face card or an ace in order to, obviously stay.
Yeah.
But if he has anything less than that, he has to hit again. So I don't know. I play the strategy. I only play the strategy that makes sense.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, when they get into blackjack, they're just trying to get as close to 21 as possible. They're not playing against the dealer like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Which if they're showing a 6, that's just like a bust hand. That's like the best hand a dealer could have is a 6 usually.
So there's multiple levels to strategy in blackjack. There's basic strategy, which is you follow the rules down to a T on everything, on every single, what they have versus what you have.
Yep.
Kind of the rule. But there are strategies that I've heard online, people talk about how anything over 12 or 12 and above, they stay. And I've heard that that has a successful strategy for some people, which is dumb in my opinion. But then there's also advanced strategies where you do crazy stuff, like you might double on like a 7 or 8 against a 6, or you might split something you're not supposed to. Like 10s, if the shoe is running bad and you get a 20, you might split a 10 against a certain card to change up the order of the cards, because there is a rhythm to the shoes. And I don't care what people say, that yes, the next card can be any card, but there are rhythms to the shoes. There are good shoes and bad shoes. And sometimes if you're in a bad shoe, I'll play 2 hands or 3 hands to try to mix it up to try to get it back positive. But there are times where you just got to go down to the minimum and just kind of wait it out.
Yeah.
Just because the dealer's hot, and I tell people that. Do you remember that movie 21 when it came out?
I was getting there, but you're gonna beat me there. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
talk.
So when that movie came out is when I was working there, and it was funny because people just thought that was the way that you count, which there is a strategy that involves that, but it's not how the movie explains it. And so there was this guy that came in, and he was with this girl that was way out of his league, and he was like, "I'm going to show you how to play blackjack." And he sits down and he's doing the things from the movie. He's like, +1, minus, like doing autistic things at the table. He's like, +1, -1, -2, -1, 6, 4. And I pulled 9 blackjacks in a row on him, and he lost it and left broke.
Dude, that girl probably left him.
Yeah, no, I don't think he got anything that night from her. Yeah,
I think he did anything.
crying
that
and
night.
tugging it.
Oh, no.
The hotel room. Yeah.
Okay, so you start off at blackjack. Now, is 21 that movie? Is that movie realistic?
Well, so there are card counters out there.
Sure. Now they always say is it illegal or is it frowned upon? Because how would anybody
Frowned
know?
upon.
Okay, I was gonna say, how would anybody know what's going on in your mind?
I worked with a guy who could count up to 4, like a 4-deck shoe.
Okay, but they're
pretty
usually with 6,
consistently.
aren't they?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but there's like two deck pitch. There's 4-deck and there's 6 decks. I've heard that there are 8 decks out there, but that doesn't make any sense to play that. But yeah, the normal is 6 decks, and there are people that do count. It is frowned upon, but it's easy to tell the pattern, and you'll get if they're good at their job and security's good at their job, they'll recognize the patterns of you sporadically betting, because what you do is you'll play a certain amount, and then when you're in a position where you have a favorable odds to get a higher number, a blackjack or a 20, you go from like a $30 bet up to like a $450 bet, so
Gotcha.
the betting scale goes up very crazy, and then it drops back. So there's a lot of like easy ways to catch you. And there are people that just literally will get banned from casino after casino after casino.
Gotcha.
And do it that way. But yeah, card counting in general, it's obviously doable, but you don't see it as much. Like I used to be able to count up to like a 2-deck pretty easily.
Okay.
And kind of have a good feeling of what was coming in the last 4 or 5 hands. But that was back when casino was my life, and everything was about the casino. So
Well, the one thing, you can still play. You don't have to count them, but you can see what the trends are happening. If you just watch the cards, you can see, a bunch of face cards haven't come out. So you know that there's going to be some face cards coming eventually.
Yeah.
That's very simple to do. Now I want to go over to the other ones, because you said, you go over to craps, and boy, I throwing just bets down on snake eyes and box cars, and that's about it, because I know they pay 30-1 odds. But you said there's a lot of math going on in that. How did you, keep all that straight? I mean, it has to take you a while to pay out, I would think.
yeah, so like so a lot of them. So there are a lot of bets that not only cover like you can bet on a single bet, but then there's a bet like that's called the horn bet. So the horn bet covers 2, 3, 12, and a yo, which is 11. So it covers 4.
A yo?
A yo is the term for 11.
Okay,
in
I'd never heard that one.
casino
Okay.
world. Yep. So if you toss in like a chip and you go, give me a yo for 5, they're gonna put it on the 11.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And there's like I said, over 220 bets on a craps table. Most of them are designed for you to lose, which is funny, because the easiest example I can explain is that you have place bets. So if say the point is 9, you have 6 and 8. You can bet.
What is the point is 9? What is that?
So craps. So how it goes is a craps is a staged game. So you put $5 down on the pass line, and now you get to play the game. They will send you the dice. They send you 5 dice. You pick 2, and then you start your roll. On the come out roll is what it's called. 7-11 will win. 2, 3, 12 lose.
Okay.
And then any other number becomes the point. So let's say I hit a 9. Now 9 is the point. Now we move on to the second stage of the game of craps. Now in between the come out roll, and the last 7, any number but the point is irrelevant. So you roll a 5, a 6, a 3. All those don't matter. After the come out roll, what matters is the point and the number 7. If you hit the point, you win that round. If a 7 comes, you lose.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So why? So for example, one of the bets that is a sucker bet is in the corners. There's a big red 6 and 8.
Okay.
And that's what we call a self-service bet. So you can reach in and you can put that bet down, and now you made that bet. Normally, when you bet on a craps table, you have to go through the dealers and say, here's my money. I want this number, this number, this number.
Okay.
So, but this is a self-service bet, just like the field. But if you put $5 on the big red 6 and a 6 comes, it pays $5.
Okay.
But if you put $6 on a place bet and a 6 comes, it pays you $7.
Gotcha.
So the same exact, this number here versus this number here, this pays you more. So that's why it's like and the field bets are one of those self-service bets that has bad odds, but you can reach in and put it. It's yellow. It's it catches your eye.
Sure.
And so you can reach in and put it in there, and if you win, they'll pay it right out. So, but the reason that craps has the best odds in the casino is because it's the only game in the casino that has the true odds of a die roll.
Okay.
So when you, and I'll explain quickly, but when you put your pass line out, which is your bet, and then you have a point.
Yeah, take your drink, man. Take your time. We got.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't care.
No, you're good. So when you make your point, say the point is 9. So now behind your bet, you can usually put up to 10 times amount of the pass line bet behind it as true odds. And what that means is that money pays you out the exact combination it is to hit that roll. So there are 6 combinations of, let's say, how to roll a 7. So there's 3, 4, 4, 3,
Yep.
5, 2, 2, 5, and then 6, 1, 1, 6.
Okay.
So that's six ways to hit a 7. And then there are, let's say, 3 ways. There's 4 ways to hit a 5, right? So there's 2, 3, 3, 2, and then 1, 4, and then 4, 1. Yep. So that bet will pay you 6 to 4, or
Gotcha.
blackjack 3 to 2.
Yeah, okay.
So if you put out $50, it's going to pay you 75. So that's a true bet, exactly equal to the odds. Now the only odds the casino has in favor is that pass line.
Okay.
And the reason is because on the come out roll, the roller is in favor because there's more 7s than there are crap rolls. But then after the come out roll, now the casino has the advantage on that pass line bet.
Gotcha.
So that's why craps is the best odds in the casino. And it's also it's an addicting game.
I can see it being very confusing, but if you knew what you're doing, then it
Yeah.
could become very addicting.
And you can also, it's the only game that you can bet with the casino.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me that the other day.
Yeah, we call it the don'ts or the dark side.
Yep.
So you can, just like I said, there's that, if you hit a 5, the odds are 3 to 2. If you're betting the don't pass, which is the opposite of what the players are, and they 7 out and they lose the game, now you have to bet 3 to win 2 because that's the opposite odds. So you're betting more to win less, but you're in favor at that point.
And you're the asshole at the table, right?
But you can also lose a lot of money very quickly.
Didn't you tell me the people don't like you at the table?
Oh, yeah. You become the villain. You're literally Darth Vader.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, you'll get stink eyes from little old ladies, spending their retirement checks.
Their retirement checks.
Yeah.
So how did you keep all that straight when you were sitting there, when you were doing all that? You have to be sitting there like your first day. I can't imagine okay, that's over there, that's there, that's there. Or is there someone else helping you at the same time?
Well, there's always your pit bosses as a resource.
Okay.
And if you get stuck, with craps, there is a stick man.
Okay.
Say, for example, there's a stick man, and
Yeah, he's the guy getting the dice, right?
Yep, he's the guy that moves the dice. The stick man actually controls the pace of the game, and beyond the pit boss sitting in the box, he's in charge.
Okay.
So what he says goes. If he says if one of the base dealers says that's a bet, and he goes, no, that's not a bet, he's the boss.
Okay.
So he also controls. His job is to keep 2 eyes on the dice at all times. Also, all the bets in the middle, your hard ways, your what we call is the one time rollers, because you can bet like that 4-4 is coming one time. Those, and then the horn bets, they're also in charge of placing all those.
Sure.
And then you have your base dealers, which are the ones that do all the place bets and do the payouts for the pass line. And then, but then you also have someone there watching you. There's always a floor manager or a pit boss sitting and watching the game, making sure things are getting paid out right. And there are situations where a number will hit and there'll be 3 bets that are cashing. So I got to do a formula for this one, and this one, and then ask him, do you want to keep these up or do you want them down? And then you got to do quick math, and then because you want to keep a pace of the game, because or else players get mad at you.
So growing up, were you good at math then?
Yeah, math's the only thing that won't lie to you in this world.
That's what my dad always says. He says, when it comes to math, there's no gray area. It's black and white. It's a yes or no. It's not, well, you do an English.
Yeah.
What was the summary of this? Or what did you think of that in this reading? And there's like, well, I thought this. And the teacher's like, no, that's not what it was about.
Yeah. They say you interpreted it wrong, and you're like, ugh.
2 + 2 is always 4, no matter what.
Yeah. Math has always been my strong suit. I was in AP Calc, and I wanted to be an engineer, and then I think college is a scam. But
oh, here we go. Get some Charlie Kirk stuff going on here. All right.
But I wanted to be an engineer, and then I left college, and then like math has always been the thing that's good for me. And it was also a big part of my job, and I think it keeps you sharp.
Sure.
But yeah, you did sports card collecting, right?
Yep. Still have a little bit. I haven't so much in the past half a year anymore, but yeah, I still got them all.
Well, I also did that as well, but I was a vendor for like Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
So I would buy, sell, and trade, and go to events and play. And so I knew that when I was buying cards, and I knew like live market pricing, I know that I can make money if I buy a card at 65%. So I got to know to be able to flip through a binder and then do quick math, all while I'm talking to someone like, hey, how's it going?
Okay.
And then, if you're buying someone's collection, you got to know how much to price it out at, what 65% of that is. Because I know that I can make money if I buy it at 65% or lower.
Right, yeah.
And then, so just like that stuff was part of my everyday, but that's easy stuff, It's not.
So you said you were going to college?
Yeah.
Where were you going?
Well, so I should have went to like an actual like a regular college like UNI, or the U of M or the University of Iowa or something like that. But because my mom had a master's, and I'm a male who's white, it's like there's not a lot of grants, and so my mom didn't have the capacity to help me out with college, or she wasn't. So I decided to go to a community college. Mm-hmm. So I started out at Hawkeye Community College.
Oh, yeah, I know that place.
Yeah. Yep. So they wanted me to. So I finished AP Calc, and so I should have been going into Trig or Stats or Calc 2 or something like that for part of my for the engineering program. And I was going to go for 2 years to Hawkeye and then transfer to Ames. Okay. Because they have a great teaching program and a great engineering program.
And you're talking about the Cyclones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, Iowa State. That was my plan. And then, I went to class. I spent thousands of dollars on books. And then they forced me to take college level algebra. Mm-hmm. They said it was a requirement. You can't test out of it. You have to pay for the course. You have to show up. And I looked through this and I was like, I did this my sophomore year of high school. Yeah. I'm like, why do I have to be here?
I did have to take algebra 1 or 2 my first year at college too, and I'm like, what the hell? I already did this once.
Yeah, and especially because it's like it's just a waste of time and money. Yeah. And so then I was working, and then trying to go to school. Like I said, I didn't get any grants, which was tough because then now I'm paying for it on my own. Sure. And then I also learned that a lot of the credits that I take and I pay for in the books don't transfer to like the Iowa State.
I know. I went to Ellsworth Community College in Iowa Falls, and I transferred over after my first year to University of Northern Iowa, and I think about half of my credits transferred over. I'm like, they said if I would have stuck around, got my AA degree, everything would have transferred. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Supposedly. I don't know if I believe that either. Yeah, allegedly. Scam.
Yeah, but
I understand what you're talking about, though.
Well, then after my first year, I was working at the casino, and I was making really good money, and I'm like, okay, people are going to go to college for 4 years, and then I looked at stats online and said, oh my God, people graduate from college and they make $20 an hour. Like there's a big,
You're already doing that.
Yeah, a big percentage of people that do that. So in my mind, I'm like, why would I waste my time doing this? You know, and it's been proven time and time again that if you're just intelligent and you're proficient, whatever company you decide to work for, as long as you show them that you're reliable, that you're competent, and that you're a team player, and that you can learn and adapt, they will teach you how to be successful. They'll put you on a career path to set you up to do, you know, to be promoted and go up to high level things. When I worked at Wells Fargo Auto, there was a girl who said she was the national sales director, and she had a little speech when she came in, and she goes, I have an associate's degree, and she goes, I've fired people from Brown, Yale, doesn't matter where you're at. If you're here and you want to learn and you want to be successful, we'll give you the tools. So that's why I'm like, you know, college, it's great, especially if you want to be in like a scientist or you want to do something skilled that requires, you know, schooling. Yeah, that might be the way to go. But, you know, there's stats out there that say that if you read an hour a day on any subject, after 7 years, not counting the weekends, after 7 years, you're at the same intelligence level as a master's degree.
You just told me that the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you read 2 hours a day on a subject and you include weekends, you can shrink that down to like 2 years.
Sure.
So I mean, college is good for a lot of reasons. It gets you social, gets you kind of adapted to the world. You're in a place where you're growing and changing, but you know, it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
You know?
no, that's perfectly understandable. I mean, I always told students, I said, you can go a 2-year degree and go to a VOTEC school, become a plumber, electrician. I know what I pay those guys per hour.
Those guys are going to be, in the next 10, 20 years, mechanics, plumbers, they're going to be dominating the market, you know?
I know, because everything else is becoming, you know, possibly AI. I mean, someone goes and gets a computer science degree, and now all of a sudden AI can do everything that you learned in 4 or 5 years or whatever it might be.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I'm not mechanically gifted, even though I work in the auto industry.
No, I'm not either.
I just take it back to a mechanic who I trust, and I say, "Can you help me out?" Like, and that's how everybody is for a lot of things: plumbing, electrician stuff.
Yep.
They just call someone. And
Yep.
my parents, you know, they built their house, and my stepdad's an electrician, and they said that it took them an extra like 6 months to build their house because there wasn't any contractors to work. They're overloaded and they're bogged down. So those guys are going to keep charging a premium, and it's going to keep going up for their services.
And they can.
They can. Yeah, they learned it.
Yeah, it's just a supply and demand, basically, is all
exactly.
it is. So then now you from Waterloo, now you're up in La Crosse, but you were somewhere else before that. Were you Colorado, you said?
Yeah, so I lived in Minneapolis for about eight years.
So how'd you go from down in Waterloo to all these other places and then end up in La Crosse?
Oh, okay. So I worked at a mortgage company called Aquin.
Okay.
Made really, really good money there. And then they were bought up by a subprime lender. And then I did modifications of mortgages when people were in foreclosure. I helped them get back to a Fannie or Freddie.
Sure.
And then they went bankrupt, and they slowly laid off the whole branch. And at that time, my mom retired a little early, and my stepdad, he retired a little early as well. And so they were selling our childhood home, you know. And so I said, oh, this is a good time to move to Minneapolis, because I've always wanted to live there, because I'm a Vikings fan, and
Sure.
I wanted to get out of Waterloo because it was like, you know, I want to be in a big city. So I went to Minneapolis for like 8 years. And then, you know, during COVID, crime got bad. And so I decided to move out to Denver. I had a buddy that was finishing college up there. So moved out there with him. And then, same thing. Crime got bad there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the Midwest. So I went back to La Crosse because I have family out here. And it's close enough to Minneapolis and close enough to my hometown that
you're in between.
I can still go visit, but I can still be away.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's quiet, Wisconsin.
So how long you been in the La Crosse area for then?
It'll be just about a year.
Oh, so it's very recent.
Very recent.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And so now you're back into the auto industry.
Yep.
And what do you do specifically?
So I'm a finance manager at Dahl Honda in Onalaska.
Okay. Yep. And I bought many cars from Dahl. The
Yeah.
Supra back there is from Dahl and Winona here.
Oh, really?
My truck is from Dahl and Winona here too. My dad's Equinox is from Dahl and Winona here too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've purchased multiple cars from Dahl. So
Yeah.
and actually met Andrew Dahl one time. I think it was when I was buying the Supra. He would just happen to be in the Dahl Toyota area here in the Winona spot, and he talked to him and said hi to him. It seemed like a very nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Seemed really young to be the president. Isn't he that what he is? The president?
Yeah, he's the president of the company.
Yeah.
But the Dahl family is a great company. But what's nice about them is, they all started off as like sales, or they worked in parts.
Sure.
And then, then they worked their way up, and then they eventually got to take the reins over, which is nice. But especially because like I worked for a family-owned company in Minneapolis called Walzer.
Oh, yep. Okay.
And then when I was out in Denver, I worked for Larry Miller, which was actually part of a conglomerate called the Asbury Auto Group.
Okay.
And they own 350 dealerships.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, there's a lot of those, Luthers, Billions, these companies that have a big umbrella. And then, but like I said, after working for corporate versus family-owned company, I would 100% go with a family-owned company.
What's different about it?
So just the fact that that they actually know their employees, they care about them.
Sure.
It actually blew my mind how much Andrew Dahl has a finger on the pulse. I went down to the accounting office where the HQ is, and he was just walking down the street. It was a nice day, and he comes up and he goes, "Joey, how's it going?" And I was like, "How does this guy even know my name?" He knows about the new business manager coming to our dealership, knows about the changes that are going on just in our specific dealership. He knows people by name. Like I said, he's the person that does orientation. So your orientation when you start at places like some HR lady who's kind of stuffy, it's the president of the company talking about
That's cool.
their vision. And Dahl has been acquiring dealerships, but not in the major markets. They're not trying to be in like a Rochester or Minneapolis. It's like the smaller markets. We bought 3 dealerships in Sheboygan, Stevens Point, Rhinelander. And so like we want to be able to take their goals and their vision and take that to the smaller markets, because the smaller markets are where you want to have the customer service and guest experience be number one.
Yes.
Because people have families, they retire in these communities. They, they're people that don't need to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So,
And I actually had a guy on here last year. His name was Thomas Gary. He used to work. He was the Toyota sales. He was a sales guy at Toyota, but he sold me my truck, and that's how I got to know him. So he came on the podcast. Really nice guy. One of their sales manager. I'm friends with him too. He was a really nice guy, Andy Kaiser.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's the regional director of the new stores now. So the recently acquired stores in Sheboygan.
Is he over there?
Yeah. He's taken over that whole side of that business.
I saw him like once this summer on the river, and I haven't seen him ever since I've gone into Toyota Dahl. I haven't seen him. So
Yeah. That's because he moved. But yeah, he's a very
did he move his whole family, or did he?
I believe so.
No kidding. Okay.
Yep. So he became the director of our East, I believe it is what we call it, our East region.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So Dahl, they're a big corporate, or not big corporate, but pretty big company. How many dealerships do you know off the top of your head? How many they have?
13.
Now? Oh, 13. Okay. So I was thinking like 100.
No. They have 13. So Dahl used to be nationwide. Dahl has the 5th oldest Ford store in the United States.
Ford store?
Yep. So
Okay.
the Ford store in Onalaska
Oh, sure.
has been around since 1911.
Okay.
And they so they were nationwide, and I think the overall their values, their core values, I think got spread thin, and then they slowly sold off a lot of their franchise stores, and then they shrunk down
Gotcha.
to, I believe, just the Ford store. And then I believe their father started acquiring a few local dealerships, and that's where we get the 6 that we have here in La Crosse, Alaska.
Okay.
But like I said, with the brothers, I think their goal is to expand again, but also to keep their core values as like installed in every store. Because one of the dealerships that we bought has had multiple owners, where it's been sold off. New people come in, it gets sold off. So Dahl has gone in there and really tried to set what their expectations are, and their core values, so that we keep that in the stores that we have.
What's one thing you think that they do differently from other places that you've worked at? Because you said, the family-owned versus corporate. What's one thing that you think that Dahl does that is just above and beyond what a corporate dealership does? Is there something that stands out in your mind? Well, I mean, you kind of said he's got his finger on the pulse, like he knows who you are. But is there some sort of experience that they give to the customer, or maybe even to you guys employee-wise?
Well, yeah. So like there's been situations where for example, someone bought a car, and they were driving to, I believe, Milwaukee. And, this is a Toyota. People think Toyotas don't break.
They do.
And
they all break. Yeah. Something breaks sometime.
Every cars break. They just break, and people don't believe that anymore. But they were on the way to, I believe, Milwaukee, and this was months after we sold them a car, and their engine went out. And we didn't have an obligation to cover it. We didn't have to do it. But, we sat down with our GM and made a few phone calls, and we said, you know what, we're gonna pay for the $8,000 engine just to do right by the customer, because especially now that Dahl has we are now our own warranty company. So a lot of dealerships will use, because you can get service contracts and warranties through banks, through third parties, but they're not always a trusted source. And so now Dahl has created their own warranty company for the insurance products that we offer, that are backed by Dahl.
Oh, okay.
So
that was something I did not know about.
Yeah. So in a situation where a customer has something go wrong, we have the ability to now have some more flexibility on what we can do to help our guests.
Sure.
Whereas some dealerships, which I've seen, they'll basically just tell you to pound sand.
Sure. Yeah.
So tough. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, just that ability to do that. Also, like the community outreach. They do so much volunteering. I think we raised $30,000 in 1 month for the YMCA, the local YMCA's. Constant benefits, and you see the brothers. They're out there. They're out there in the community, being involved. And it's funny because Walzer it's a family company, but it's big. It's in Minneapolis. There's almost 1 million people there, but. So you see people that are like, oh, I know the Walzer, I know this Walzer, but it feels like everybody knows the brothers,
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I went to school with them, I grew up with them, yeah, I know their dad, it's great. So it's kind of just cool that they're literally a 10-minute drive down the road. I can go see them if I wanted to.
Sure. How many brothers are there?
3 of them: Tyler, Jansen, and Andrew.
Now, one of the cool things is, and we were just talking about this the other day, is you said, oh, have you ever been to the Dahl Car Museum, which I have.
Yeah.
And actually, funny thing is, I actually had a photo shoot there when I was doing a photo shoot for St. Croix, which was Knitcraft at the time, but St. Croix is a clothing company. And I got to sit into some of those cars, which was kind of neat, too.
Yeah.
So I got to do photo shoot. Get paid doing a photo shoot, and also sit in the cars and just kind of experience the museum for free. I didn't have to, pay to go in or anything like that.
Yeah, and they have some cool stuff like the same Lincoln that JFK was assassinated in.
Sure,
They have the old, Model Ts in there, and then they have everything to like a new GT40.
I saw that one too.
You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to have you ever been a car salesman?
Yeah. I was a salesman for the last 5 years. Oh, yeah, I was salesman for about 5 years.
So you actually were selling the cars, and now you're doing the finance portion.
Yep. So, but I sold Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram.
Okay.
Kind of across the board. I like the brand. I like their buyers. I like the style. And
you're a Mopar guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's behind us right
yeah,
there.
Right?
That's a Viper.
Yeah. As much as, you either love or hate Jeeps, which is kind of how it is. That whole, Stellantis, Chrysler, Dodge,
yeah, I think Jeeps are a hate-love thing. Either you hate them or you love them.
Yeah, they're definitely a lifestyle thing.
You're a duck guy.
yeah. No, I had a Challenger. I had and
oh yeah, you told me about that.
yeah, I had a Scat Pack. That was a fun car.
Was it stick?
No.
Oh, what the
I
hell?
mean, I'm not. I can drive a stick, but with winter and stuff like that, I was daily.
What was
in
your?
it.
Oh,
This
jeez.
was my daily. Yeah, yeah. I put
How
90
much
pounds of sand in the trunk and put snow tires on it. Like, let's rip this one.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had one of those then.
Yeah. And then I've always just been a fan of them. But yeah, like I said, I sold in Denver and in Minneapolis, so two different, different metros. And then when I moved here, I applied for sales at Dahl Honda. And then right at the same time, I applied for a service manager position because I was staying in Blair, which is a small town.
Yep.
But there's a local place that offered me a pretty competitive wage to be a service manager for them. And so I turned down sales and I accepted the job as a service manager. And I did that for about a month. And then I got a call from my current GM, and he said, "Hey, we want you to interview for finance. Do you want to come back in?" And as far as like the sales world goes, the jump from sales to finance or to as a sales manager just to get into management is a huge leap for your career.
Okay.
So there are guys that do sales for 20, 30 years, and they're just good at it, and they want to stay there. But my goal at the end of the day is to be a GM one day.
Sure.
Because I think that, because I came from the customer service background, so I never really looked at sales like being a salesman. It's more like we talked about how when you sell houses that you're more like a teacher.
Yep.
You're there to provide information and help them along the way to their new house. That's how with the internet and how competitive the markets are. That's what sales is nowadays. It's asking the right questions, finding the right car, setting the right expectations.
Sure.
And then just being like a friendly person to them, someone they can trust.
Sure.
Because the stigma back in the 80s was like, dirt bags and,
Well, I don't even think that's gone away up until these days now. I mean, obviously nowadays you can do your own research on things so easy, but you always feel like you see that guy with the slick back, greasy hair coming out to sell you some junk. And
yeah, but to be honest with you, I sold cars with a guy named Jedman Snow out in Denver.
Jedman
Snow. Yeah, it's a great name.
It's a name I've never heard of.
But he's just a very soft, humble guy, super knowledgeable, and he was selling 30 to 40 cars a month.
That's good.
It's great. Yeah, so
it's one a day.
Yeah, and he knows his knowledge of the car business. I have a salesman at my dealership now who's like that. His name's Ben. And he's just been doing it so long. He asks the right questions you wouldn't really think a salesman would ask you.
Sure.
Which throws people off, which puts them into a state of kind of vulnerability, and then he kind of takes you along, and then he's there to help you.
Yep.
Which is a great selling style, but.
Well, I still think real estate gets that stigma. A guy in real estate, I think people think is kind of a sleazeball, possibly. But we have so many rules and regulations we can't.
Well, yeah, that's how the auto industry is now.
But you don't have a license in order to sell a car, do you?
No, but I have to pass like certifications and stuff.
Sure.
Like that.
Okay.
But no, I don't have to be registered with the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can sell houses in Minnesota, but not Wisconsin. Right?
Correct, unless I get my Wisconsin license. Yep, that's exactly right. So yeah, I still think we get men in real estate. I think get a little bit more of that sleazier.
Yeah, I need a Phil Dunphy.
Who's that?
You haven't seen Modern Family?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it. He's just a goofy real estate agent who's like a nice guy. Yeah, and it's like that's what you need.
Yeah.
I don't need the guy with like the tightened up suit.
Yeah. No, and whenever I go into a dealership, I'm looking for something very specific usually.
Oh, yeah.
So, the next car I ever get will be most likely a Ram TRX. Well, they ain't just at every single dealership sitting on the lot. I'm going to have to go and research and find one and go to a specific location.
Are you going to get the RHO or are you going to try to get the actual TRX?
The actual TRX.
Yeah, the 6.2 supercharged?
Yes.
Yeah, that thing. Have you seen inside the engine bays?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's the Velociraptor getting eaten by a TRX.
All those Easter eggs are all over that car, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at it when it first came out at the auto show, and I was like, gosh, what I want is a red one with the little red trim interior. It's got to be the level 2 package.
Not burgundy. You want like a cherry red?
I want the bright red.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I like it. I like that bright red. There's one of our friends in town here has the black one. That looks pretty badass, too.
Yeah.
But in my mind, the black doesn't stand out as much. You can definitely tell the wide wheel wells on them. But I eventually want one of those. But my Denali, I gotta admit, that thing cruises like a caddy down the highway.
Yeah.
It floats, so I can't complain with that either. The one complaint I do have with the GM trucks is that their gas tanks are tiny. It's like
really?
a 23-gallon tank. You can get like 300 miles, and that's not very much. But when I had my Ford Raptors and stuff, they had 38-gallon tanks.
Yeah, they're
so I was filling up like once every week and a half at most.
Yeah.
And now it's like every 6-7 days. I'm like, gosh, this sucks. But it's better than an electric truck, I guess, at this point.
Oh yeah, geez, talk about a blunder. The Ford Lightning and
those are tanking, aren't they?
So yeah, well, one of our sales managers, he has a Ford F-150 hybrid, and he's had it for almost 2 years, and he's had like 28 check engine lights.
Jeez.
Yeah. But so I mean, and manufacturers have their waves. Like they'll have their ups and downs, the years where their trucks and their cars were really well built.
Yep.
And then there's times in the auto market where they're not doing as well.
Sure.
But kind of across the board since COVID, manufacturers, their quality and the build of them has gone way down.
I know that with the boats.
Yes.
I'm well aware.
Yes, it's just, and it's now with tariffs and stuff like that. Just the average car is just much more expensive to own in the long run. And even you have Toyota, they've decreased their quality by like 39%. And they were a trusted brand, but a lot of people are switching because Toyota took away like their naturally aspirated V6s and went down to like a turbocharged 4-cylinder. And like
I saw that in the
Tacomas and
Land
stuff.
Cruiser. The Land Cruisers are like, they used to be V8s, naturally aspirated V8s. Now they're, what are they, twin turbo or turbo V or inline
V6.
fours? Or
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
They're 4-cylinders. I'm like, what the hell is
and
that?
inline engines are great for like overall reliability, but the turbos that they use, like Honda uses Mitsubishi turbos. They're not even made by Honda because the manufacturers, they make the engines, the transmissions, and the body styles. But a lot of electronics don't get made by. They get made in India, China, Mexico, wherever. But the turbos, it's a very, very small turbo. It doesn't really provide that much power. Whereas like a turbo in like a sports car is gigantic. It brings in all the air.
Yeah.
But it's just. A turbo is something that commonly goes out in cars, newer cars, especially if the cost of someone beat the crap out of the car, and they're like $7,000 repairs.
Damn. What about supercharged? Are those more reliable?
No, anything forced induction. So,
right.
so supercharged.
So my TRX is not a good idea.
Yeah. No, just buy a service contract. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Thanks for selling me on that.
No. That's my job. So.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get to that here in just a moment. But yeah, go over it. Tell me about those turbos though, because that is actually because now everything is like a turbo. It seems.
Yeah, and the turbos they provide an extra torque or get up and go. Mm-hmm. But the reason that they have turbos now is because they decrease the size of the engines to give better fuel economy for CAFE standards, which is God, I can't even think of the anagram.
Did you say
now.
CAFE?
CAFE.
I thought it was
I'd
like
have to look it
for
up.
hippies or something. That's where you're going
No,
with this.
but it's basically the regulations that they put on manufacturers to make their cars more like fuel. Economically fuel efficient.
Yeah, the carbon.
Yes,
footprint.
that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Which the carbon footprint thing is actually it's ridiculous because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter about the carbon, like the amount of carbon, because you have companies like Tesla, Tesla is assigned. Let's say they're assigned 20 billion tons of emissions. Every manufacturer is assigned 20 million tons, and if you go over that, now you get fined for going over that. If your brand creates 30 million pounds, they charge you for that extra 10. But what manufacturers can do is they can go to a company like Tesla and they say, sell me 10 of yours at 50%, and then you make this money. So it's like the electric car companies aren't even really doing that much for the environment.
Yeah, they're just buying other people's emissions.
Yeah, and then the amount of stuff that it takes to make a battery.
I heard.
It's worse for the environment than anything else. I mean, just to make the cell batteries that they make in Teslas, just coming out of like the Congo where they're getting paid 7 cents a day. They're basically slaves, you know. It's like, you know, so it's
God,
like,
yeah.
you know, especially like with your Apple phone, you got like, you know, some kid in China making it in a sweatshop, you know.
It's probably like a couple bucks to make the phone.
Yeah, and
kid gets like 20
they have
cents.
suicide nets around the buildings and stuff like that, you know. It's like, geez.
Dude, okay, so that bringing that up, it reminds me of a episode of Home Improvement. I don't know if you ever watched Home Improvement
Yeah.
growing up, but they had one. It was Randy was doing a report for school about carbon emissions, and then they talked about buying carbon something back, and that's exactly what you were just talking
Yeah.
about. So it is a true thing. Okay, so Home
yeah.
Improvement didn't just make it up.
No. Tim the Toolman Taylor's on it.
Actually, you know what? He signed us a for our wedding. We sent out invites to celebrities, and he actually sent
did?
some. Yeah,
You did that trick?
we did. It wasn't a trick. He just sent it to him.
You invite Mark Cuban, and he sends you like a G bar or whatever.
No, but we got back autograph stuff from Tim Taylor or
No.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
One of my favorite singers, Jake Miller, sent us something saying congratulations on your wedding. Sorry I can't make it. It was really cool, but we did look it up on TikTok, so it was kind of fun. We also did it for our baby shower, but we never received a thing, I don't think.
So that's why Sydney Sweeney got a card for her bathwater, huh? Yeah. Please send a bucket of your bathwater for my wedding.
I don't even want that. Well, anyways, that's so now I want to go over your job because now you're into the finance department.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's a step up from the sales, right? But it's just below the GM. Or or the sales manager.
So
right?
we're like on par. I'm peers with the sales managers.
Okay.
And then my direct boss is my finance director and then GM.
So how do you feel about this job now compared to car sales?
Oh, it's great.
Is it easier?
No, they both have their challenges.
Okay, so what's it? You told us some of the challenges of the other aspect of selling cars. So what are challenges of the finance department?
So my job is to basically, when you're buying a car, I do the paperwork. I do all your DMV work for you. So I issue plates or get you temp tags if you're out of state. And then I process all your paperwork and I go over coverage options at time of purchase. But my main job is when people finance. You know, we have a slew of lenders that we use. So whereas you may go into your local bank and say, I want an auto loan, and they say, we're going to give you 7.5%, and you're pre-approved up to $30K. Well, I can take your structure based on the year, make, miles, all that stuff, and I can submit it to one of our lenders that we have that we partner with, local credit unions, and also like the major banks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, this is the best place to send this deal to, based on your credit score and like a lot of things that qualify you. So I'll send it over to a local credit union. I'll go, I just got you a 524. So I saved you 2.5 points by choosing to do paperwork in the dealership. Like I said, I have the ability to save you money.
Okay.
And then there's also the convenience factor. Instead of you running to your bank, coming back to my dealership, going back to your bank, back to the dealership, it's just like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And so that's like my main job. And then, like I said, I also help people add coverages to their cars, service contracts, because, if you're buying a used car outside of your manufacturer warranty, or you want to increase the term of your manufacturer warranty and add a service contract for extra coverage, that I do that stuff. I also help people with like gap coverage. Do you know what that is?
Yep.
So,
I had it on one of my cars, and that was it.
Yeah, so if you're not putting at least like 30% down, gap is something that you need, or if you're driving a crazy amount of miles.
So for people that are probably listening, gap insurance is probably like private mortgage insurance, where if you don't put down 20% on a house, you usually have to pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, just in case you default on your loan. Sounds like gap coverage is probably similar in the vehicle world.
So gap coverage is guaranteed asset protection.
Yep.
So in case of a total loss while you have a loan, gap coverage covers your deductible with your insurance company and then pays off the balance of your loan up to 150%.
Okay.
So in a case where you took a 6-year loan, you put $1,000 down, and you're buying a $30,000 car, 2 years in, someone T-boned you. Now your car's worth $21,000 and you owe $26,000. The bank doesn't care. The bank is going to go, where's my $5,000?
Yeah, right.
And so a lot of times, I've had 2 gap claims that have been processed. That saved me, thousands of dollars. And so, like in case of the worst situation of your life, a total loss, that you not having to worry about the bank coming after you and having to roll in negative equity your next loan. This just pays off your loan. You go get a new car. You figure it out. So gap is very important for anybody that's buying a car and they're not putting a large chunk down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of other coverages that we offer, but we kind of tailor it to their needs, where they want their payments to be. The most important and the most popular coverage are obviously service contracts, which they're not called warranties because, a warranty is a term associated with the manufacturer.
Sure.
So a service contract essentially pays to repair your vehicle.
Yep.
And so it covers everything that could break on the car, and just with like I said, the overall build quality of cars, most people add coverages to their car nowadays, just because we've had people think that Honda is a reliable brand in comparison to Ford, Chevy, Jeep, and
yep.
But we've had people have engine replacements on cars that are 4 years old, and they've been 3,000-4,000 miles outside of their manufacturer warranty. And an engine nowadays in a Honda is $15,000.
Jeez.
And it's like that used to be the cost of like a Mercedes or a Volvo engine.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you're and it's just because of inflation, tariffs, stuff like that. The average cost of repair has increased exponentially.
Gotcha.
And not everybody can afford to throw down $5-6 grand when something breaks. So most people add the coverages, most of the time as long as they can, or however long they're going to own the car.
Yeah.
Like for example, I have a Buick, and I bought it. It was used, but it was like an old lady's car. The paint was like brand new, but it was used. But I bought it, and I added a service contract for 5 years because I'm going to keep it for 5 years and I'm going to sell it. Yep. Because I know that's how long I'm going to keep it and how long I want it, and I just want to have the guarantee my car is going to be running for 5 years.
Sure.
So that's like my main function, and my pay is based on a lot of different factors, but the banks that we do business with, the credit unions, they pay us a very small percentage to write the loans to save their guests the trip in house. So that's how kind of the structure of a finance manager works.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you say that because obviously you get paid somehow, and I don't really think I think people understand. Hey, obviously you make money off of probably certain things that you're able to sell to people. Just like me selling a house, I don't get paid until the closing happens. That's my job. That's my career. It's just what I chose. When someone comes into the finance office, what is one thing that you sell that you think everyone should have?
A service contract.
And what would that entail? Like, give us the breakdown of what the service contract would be.
Yeah, so we can tailor it to just a basic coverage that covers like your engine, transmission, all-wheel drive system, the big stuff, all the way up to what people refer to as like a bumper-to-bumper coverage. So it's what it's called technically. It's called exclusionary coverage. Okay. So it covers everything on the car that could break, and minus your wearable stuff like your windshield wipers, wiper blades, and then like your oil and brake pads and stuff like that. But then it covers everything from your suspension, heating and air, electronics, screens, anything that goes wrong. And it covers all the parts and labor and diagnostics. So, when you have a situation where you have to pay out of pocket, you don't have that overwhelming feeling of now I got to come up with $3, $4, $5 grand. Yeah. And it's completely covered. So, and I can tell you from experience, like I said, I have a Buick that's used, and I have an 05 Grand Cherokee. I've driven new cars I was a leaser because, when you lease, you have your manufacturer covered. Your lease is 3 years, and you're covered under your manufacturer warranty for 3 years.
Sure.
So you never have to worry about a repair. But when after I had, a couple cars stolen, I was like,
what? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Is that covered under that warranty?
No. It's covered under your insurance. No, but my mom was like, just buy something used. Yeah. And like with my Accord, I had my sensors go out, and it would have been $2,600. I bought a brand new Mazda CX-5. The heating went out.
Jeez.
I had to do a repair on the Challenger. It was like, but then this 05 that I bought in Denver that had 160,000 miles on. I've been driving for 2.5 years, and it made it from Colorado all the way out here.
All right.
It hasn't had a single repair. I did hit a deer, but
that's different though.
The government goats got me. I'm not gonna lie. They got me twice. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so like the older used cars that I have been more efficient than the newer cars that I've owned. Just because, with electronics and stuff like that, just stuff happens. But
Sure.
eventually I'll get the itch and go back to a new car. But I like not having the car payment right now.
Oh, me too. So that was
You buy cars in cash, you said, right?
in the last one. Yes, I did. There was a couple of them before that I didn't, and then eventually I paid them off, and I don't ever want to go back and do that.
Yeah.
So, question for you:
Yeah.
People come into the finance office without financing. Are they kind of like, shit, or is it? Because there's obviously sometimes you can obviously sell them maybe a warranty of some sort.
Yeah.
But like I went and bought the Viper for cash. The lady, and this is from Rochester Motor Cars. She goes, "Well, there's not much I can do. It's an '04. There's no such thing as a warranty for this anymore.
Yep.
I can't sell you anything. The only thing I can ask is, do you want black plates for it?" And I go, sure, what the hell? And then I was in and out in like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So when someone comes in and pays it for cash, what's the next step then for you?
Oh, so like I said, I still process their paperwork. So it's a much shorter process. So like normally when I write loans, not only do I have to process the documents for the customer that we need for compliance, like your purchase contract, title application, just a bunch of documents. But so I'm not doing the bank documents with them.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the same ownership documents they need.
Yep.
And I still go through coverage options with them.
Sure.
Because
if it's qualified, right? If it's too old,
too old or there's too many miles on it.
What would be too old and too many miles? What is that?
I believe our cutoff for age, I want to say is 20 years.
Okay.
And the mileage is 200,000.
Okay.
So usually I can go like some people will buy like a lot of times you see like a Honda Pilot with like 160,000 miles on it. I can usually cover them for up to 5 years.
Okay.
Especially when you get if you get close to 80K and above, that's where you're in that anything could happen at any time.
Sure.
Just because, rate of repair goes up, past that 3 years. But yeah, so I mean, they can always add that coverage, especially if they're paying cash. People add service contracts, they add coverages when they pay cash. It's just the same process because as a finance manager, by law, I have to offer every coverage option available to them.
Sure.
Or else it's considered discrimination.
Okay, so for people that come into the finance office, know that he has to sell you or has to at least tell you about these things because he can't discriminate. Totally understandable because in real estate, we can't discriminate against people. There's the ethics that we have to abide by. There's fair housing that we have to abide by. So same thing applies to Joey. He has to go over these coverages with you. So don't think he's just wasting your time. He's not doing that. This is part of the job and part of the law.
Yes, yeah, and just because people have the money to pay for a vehicle doesn't mean that they don't want to add a service contract.
Sure.
So like, for example, like a lot of times with Honda buyers, I have to go through and I talk to them about the overall reliability of vehicles. So like I use stuff like Consumer Reports, AAA reporting, website called Repair Pal, that I'll use data about cars to show how reliable cars nowadays are. So I just had a person yesterday who bought a Honda Odyssey. They paid cash, and they added a 8-year coverage to it because So the people that don't know, vans across the board break more than any other car, and it's same. Doesn't matter if it's a Chrysler. It doesn't matter if it's a Sienna, an Odyssey.
Really?
And people think that just because a brand is associated with them, that they're going to be reliable.
Sure.
Well, how many times per year do you think like a Honda Odyssey would be in the shop, on average?
I would say 2 times for 2 oil changes.
And you don't think any repairs? And let's
most likely,
a 5-year period. Let's say how many times do you think
5-year period? Okay, so if you're gonna get oil changes, maybe twice a year
outside of oil changes, so like repairs.
I'm thinking maybe 5 times in 5 years because maybe once a year something goes like maybe you got to get brake pads 1 year and you got to maybe change tires another time. But I wouldn't think of like the mechanicals, the motors. To me, in my mind, Toyota, Honda, very, very reliable.
Well, yeah. So the rate of repair on most vans, including a Honda Odyssey, is 0.5 times per year. So
0.5 times, half the time.
Yes.
Well,
so and this is an average. Means that there's more. That means there's less.
Yep.
But on average, people are in the shop every other year. So over a 10-year period, the average van buyer is in the shop 5 times, and that's not for maintenance. We're talking about my screen went out, my transmission blew,
Okay.
I have a check engine light.
Okay, so
We're
now
talking, about
that
outside
kind of stuff.
of brakes, tires, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So if the average repair nowadays is, let's say the average repair is $1,600, take that times 5,
Yeah.
you're at $8,000. A service contract is $38. And
$100
$3,800
for 8 years.
for 8 years.
That makes sense then. To
And
have
then
that.
with that average, over 8 years, you're going to be in the shop 3 to 4 times. And vans have so many bells and whistles, electric doors, infotainment systems.
That's true. I forget about those things.
And in general, trucks and vans are usually overloaded. Their payload is higher, so the transmissions work harder. And so that's what people don't understand is that a lot of times the amount of stuff that they put in their vehicles is wearing out their transmission faster.
Sure, I didn't realize that. Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that comes in. I'm like my trucks are like every 2 years. What would you advise me to get if I'm coming in buying a vehicle and it's only gonna be 2 years? What's something I should possibly get?
And you buy something every 2 years?
That's been kind of the average on my trucks. It's every 2 years.
So are you buying used or new?
Used usually.
How many years old usually?
So this last one was a 2020, and I bought it in 23. So 3 to 5 years old. Let's just say.
So the shorter term service contracts are much cheaper.
Okay.
So whereas in 8 year, that's going to be $3,000 to $4,000.
Yeah.
You're talking about a 2 year is going to be much cheaper. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll set someone up. So if you came in and I said, hey Chris, I'm going to go over some coverage options, and I talk about a service contract, I would say, hey, I'm going to offer you a 48 month, let's say 60,000 mile warranty. And you go, well, I'm only going to keep my truck 2 years. And I go, do you know that for sure? And then you're going to say, boy, that's my trend. And I go, what if you don't? And then I go, he goes, well, then I might keep it longer. Okay. Well, the good thing about a service contract is it's prorated. It's just like a monthly insurance.
Okay.
So if it costs $3,000, you trade it in 2 years down the line, and I gave you a 4 year, you're going to get half that cost back.
Who gives that back to me?
I do. That's part of my job role is to cancel coverages.
But only if I come back to that dealership.
So part of my job is to cancel and provide refunds to these insurance products.
Okay.
So there's a lot of situations where people need refunds on these coverages. If they have a total loss, they trade it in, they sell the car. And so my job is to have them come in, cancel all of their coverages, and then provide a refund because it's prorated based on time and mileage.
Sure.
So, a lot of times people don't realize that. They get in total loss and they think, oh my gosh, I have gap coverage and it paid off my loan, but now, but then you're like, oh, well, you also have coverages that are help to pay off that balance. And like I said, a lot of times people have, some money coming back because when I had gap, I had a gap claim and, because the money I put down, I put like $4,000 of equity from my Accord into the vehicle, and so I think I got like $2,800 back.
Okay.
So I mean, it's like a lot of that stuff goes towards your refunds and stuff like that. But overall, like I said, they're only these coverages that we go through and we offer are only good if you see value in them or you need them.
Sure.
Because outside of, the average age of a Honda buyer is a little higher.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What is the average age?
Oh, I don't know the actual data, but in the La Crosse on Alaska area, there's a lot of retired people.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'll hear people, that are in their 80s and 90s, and they're like, I'm not going to live for another 8 years. And I go, well, you can transfer it if you give this car to your grandson or something. They'll have coverage. So that's always tough.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cash buyers in the area, which I don't care if you
Sure.
have the ability to write cash for it. It doesn't bother anybody. If you don't want to pay interest on something, you don't have to.
Right. Yes.
But for Honda, especially last month into this month, the manufacturers offer rebates.
Yeah, I noticed that. There's a lot of rebates out there.
Yeah, so a lot of times the rebates you're required to finance for a certain amount of time to get the rebates, usually 4 payments.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal then.
No, so
you're probably going to get better on your rebate than you are going to have to worry about your interest rate.
Yeah, imagine you have, with Jeep, they had $6,500, $7,000 worth of.
They always do. Ram, all of those Stellantis ones do.
Well, the rebates that they have on Ford, Chevy, Jeep, those are what really affect the market. And that's why people are so tipped. And when I say tipped, I mean they have a lot of negative equity on electric and hybrid. is because there are states like Colorado, New York, Oregon that are what we call carb states.
Oh yeah.
So with because they just got rid of the federal EV credit.
Yeah,
$7,500.
It's about to go away. I think after the.
I think it already did.
Well, so last night we had an accountant guy come in here, and my dad's also an accountant as well. But he said I think it was at the end of the year the EV credits go away.
Oh, okay.
So if you're gonna buy an EV car, it's gotta be like within this year
Yeah.
to get the credits. Otherwise, it's going away. Because he said, well, Trump doesn't really care much about the Green New Deals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, so if you're buying a EV out in Colorado, so not only was there a $7,500 rebate from the federal government, but the carb states, the green states, were also giving an extra $7,500. Plus, you have the rebates from Jeep. So, for example, 4xe Wrangler, which is a hybrid Wrangler.
Yep.
People were getting like $21,000 in rebates off of them.
So does the rebates come off of the vehicle then?
Yeah. So the car may be 63,000,
But it's like
but you're only
41.
paying 42. Yeah. But then in the non-carb states, so like in Wisconsin, in Iowa, the people that want to get a hybrid, now if they buy a new one, now they're already tipped $7,500.
Sure.
Because Iowa doesn't give that rebate to them,
Yep.
which causes the rest of the market to also tank on those vehicles. So if you buy a car that's an EV, you're like, well, it's a $65,000 car, but 2 years later, it's now worth 38.
Yeah.
And you're like, but it's because those carb states have those.
Gotcha.
And rebates in general drive the market value of cars down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's why Honda doesn't even really like to call them rebates. They call them incentives. Because the term,
okay. It's the same
and
thing.
A lot of it through Honda is there's not a lot of big rebates. If they are, there are a lot of loyalty and conquest. Which conquest is if you're coming from like a competitor, they'll give you some extra money off to incentivize you to come to Honda.
Sure.
But yeah, the Ford, Chevy, GM, all the rebates they have just tank the markets for their cars.
Man, you've given us a lot of info here. This is kind of fun, though, to know about the car, because a lot of people are going to buy cars right now at this time of the year because of the fact that they might be trying to do something tax-related.
Yeah.
And sometimes the year-end sales are humongous at this point, and also probably because of those tax incentives. But then you also give us a behind-the-scenes look of what it's like going to the finance office.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what you're doing when you get to you.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Well, and at the end of the day, my job is to protect the people who decide to do business with us. Like for example, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I can do. Because a lot of credit unions around here will kind of go the extra mile for people. So like if I have an interest rate, for example, Ultra. You know Ultra?
We have an Ultra right in town. They're good people.
So like Ultra, a lot of times if they have members that are with Ultra, and let's just say I got a 4.84 through a different credit union, I can call Ultra and be like, hey, this is one of your people. You want to match this? They go, sure. It doesn't matter because their floor, I think, right now is like 4.99.
Okay.
But like just yesterday, I had someone that was going to be a new member, and I was like, "Do you want to take these people on? They're local, they're a business owner."
Sure.
And they go, "Yeah, we'll give them 4.84." So there's like a lot of times the credit unions will go the extra mile.
Yeah.
For their customers,
So-
which I can do. I can do things in the background because I have relationships with them.
Okay.
And I know they're indirect lenders, so there's a lot of times I can make a few phone calls, and I can get you a much better interest rate than you could. Because like I had someone that was like, yeah, I went to BMO, which is my trusted bank for 20 years.
I had a loan with them one time, BMO. Yep.
They offered them 8.5%. You're like, whoa, dude.
Whoa, that was a lot.
Yeah, come on in.
So here's what I have a question about, and I almost forgot to ask this. I'm glad you brought this up. What if someone comes in, because I just had this in real estate, what if someone comes in with no credit score at all?
Oh, great question. So as a first-time buyer, so when I was growing up as a first-time buyer, usually you took a hit on your interest rate. You had to have money down, and your first rate was usually 12, 14%. You take, because you have a higher risk profile. So either A, you need a co-signer, someone who's got qualified credit that can co-sign for you. But nowadays, there are certain lenders that have like first-time buyer programs that will allow someone who's a first-time buyer to get a less harsh rate.
Yep.
And a lot of times the dealerships have to pay a fee to do that.
Okay.
So if I take on someone that we call like a ghost, someone who has no credit score,
Yep.
and they approve them for first-time buyers, I have to pay them $600.
Pay who?
The bank.
You have to pay them that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out of your paycheck, or
No,
they just
no,
take
no.
$600?
They take
off?
$600 from.
Gotcha.
So we have to send them an actual physical check from the dealership.
All right.
So
Now I get it. Okay.
So like a lot of that stuff, there are lenders that we use that have those programs. As a first-time buyer, you don't know that you're a first-time, that you don't have a credit score.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, people might have a credit card that gives them line of credit, or I've had people be like, I don't think I have a credit score, and they're a 740. Now, you're a thin 740. It means you don't have a lot of lines or a lot of history, but you still have an established credit score. You've been paying on something that gave you a reporting to the bureaus.
Sure.
So a lot of times, if you're a first-time buyer, come in. Most of the time, you got to have some kind of money down, because you have to show the lender that you're willing to stake something in return for taking your loan on.
Gotcha.
But in a situation, there are some, like I said, a lot depends on how much you make, because there's factors like loan to value ratio, which is like how much the loan is versus how much the car you're buying is worth. There's payment to income. There's debt to income ratios, and then you have your credit scores. There's a lot of things that go into an approval.
Gotcha.
So it's best to come in and first and foremost find the car you love, because if you don't love the car you're buying, you're not going to be happy at the end of the day.
Right. Yep.
I mean, there are situations where people are like, I'm desperate. I need anything I can get, which is, we work with those people as well. But you fall in love with the car, and then you need to trust that I'm going to do best for you.
Yep.
I'm going to do right by you and make sure that I get you the best program, and see if we can sell you a car for financing and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So,
I just had some clients that bought a house, and they thought they couldn't get a house because they didn't have a credit score.
yep.
And I go, you guys are the rare exception, actually an awesome exception, because that means you have no loans out there. I love that idea. And so I pointed them in the right direction. They got the house, and they're like, you made this happen. I go, I did not make this happen. I just told you where to go, and they made it happen. But because I listened to Dave Ramsey, so I know where to point people and how to do manual underwriting. So for those who are listening, come to me if you don't have a credit score. I can help you.
I like Dave I like Dave Ramsey, and I didn't know if you're going to bring him up, but a lot of the advice that he gives is not always the best advice when it comes to
there are certain
auto.
things I don't agree with.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Like he doesn't, but it comes down to he's also talking to a lot of people who have trouble with credit. So I always pay all my stuff on my credit card because I get 2% back, but I'm always paying my credit card off. So why would I not pay my utility bill on my credit card when I'm going to get 2% back than pay it on my debit card? Because I have to pay it either way.
Sure.
Why not get a little bit of an incentive or a little bit of kickback on my utility bill, my water bill? All those things have to be paid eventually.
Right.
Why pay in cash? It doesn't do any different if I were to pay in cash. I just get a little bit of like a 2% kickback, and by the end of the year, that might be a dinner, it might be a tank of gas, it might be a mortgage payment, depends on what you're paying, So there are certain things I don't agree with. I just like not having the debt. That's where I'm at.
And the thing about it is he always preaches that get rid of all your debt, right?
Yep.
Get rid of all your debt. Well, as much as having a credit score is great, if you do not have some kind of debt, you eventually become a ghost. So a lot of people, when they're retired, they will pay off all their debt when they get retired, and then if you don't have any kind of revolving debt in 7 years, your credit score disappears.
Sure.
So you could be an 880, where you could go out and start a business, get a loan for your kids to help them out to buy a house, co-sign on something, and then they're like, you don't have a credit score.
Yeah.
Because you're not using any debt. So and especially if you want to build your credit score and keep it up and have the ability to, it doesn't mean you have to take out a loan, but you never know where your life's going to be at, and time where you need to borrow funds may always, arise. So having the ability to have an established score that's high enough to be not a risk is something that requires you to have. And you could have like a credit card, a small balance on it, because with credit cards, if you at least use up over 33% of your balance and then pay it off for the end of the month, your credit score climbs super fast.
Sure.
And if you ever have a loan that you fully satisfy without paying it off early, that also boosts your score heavily.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So having some kind of small debt is always good. I mean, I don't like to have that either, but I still want to have an established score.
Sure.
Then, he always preaches that pay cash, do that. And if you can, great. But, because, but in general, cars are a depreciating asset.
Yes.
You know, when the market was good and you could get a 2% interest rate, but you could make 4% on your money. Why would you pay cash when you can finance it and make 2% extra on your money and invest it somewhere else?
Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying before, I think that what he does is he preaches to the people that are. It's more of the really basic people that have no control over their life.
Sure.
So they're like have no control. It's just like spend, and then
Yeah,
they can't stop
there.
and help themselves. And that is, you know, spending is an addiction, just like alcohol can be an addiction, cigarettes. Yeah. Don't worry, I like to spend just as much as everybody else. So I get excited about buying new things. It gets exciting for me too. So I totally understand where that's coming from.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting world. You know, and like I said, I started in Wells Fargo Auto on the banking side.
Yeah.
And so, like, seeing the world from a banking standpoint and then switching to the other side of auto is just giving me a lot of insight on, the auto industry itself. So, I mean, it's a really, but at the end of the day, working at a dealership is fun. It's a lot of excitement. People are buying cars. People love cars.
Yeah,
they love buying new stuff.
I know. You know,
we're like, bring your kids, bring your dog. Let's have a day about it. You know, I don't want you to be here for like 4 hours, but we can get you in and out and have a good time.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's most people's second biggest purchase of their lives.
Absolutely.
So we want you to have fun.
Well, Joey, as we're starting to wind down here, I mean, we've been going for an hour and 24 minutes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, but I need you to make this podcast great again. Now, last week we had really good viewership, but I want this week to be great too.
Christopher Jacobson. Wow, what a podcast. Maybe the best podcast. I don't know. I didn't say that, but it's the best. Subscribe.
So Joey does a great Trump impression. And actually, for those who are wondering, Joey, he doesn't fall on one side of the aisle or the other.
No.
We talk political. You're just good at the Trump impression.
Yeah, great. I don't know.
Good. You did it for an hour and 15 minutes back from Austin, Minnesota to Winona the whole freaking way home.
Yeah, that was great.
It was so fun. And, that's the funny thing. Do you do any other impressions at all?
No, I just in general, I like comedy. I would like to be a stand-up comedian one day. That would be something
I could
that would
see
be
that.
fun. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, I'm usually the life of the party. I'm pretty quick on my feet. Not on those feet, like running wise, but I'm pretty quick in the conversation. So I'd like to one day, pursue that because it's just, and I love comedy. I love podcasts. I'm so happy that I was able to come on and chit chat with you.
I was happy you were here too.
It's a great day here in Winona, Minnesota.
I just loved it.
Well, you got to get a few drinks in you first.
Well,
really
which one I always loved when I was little, or not little, younger. It was the Bushisms. I loved Bushisms from Frank Caliendo. Those were so fun.
Yeah.
And he's, I don't know, he's just like does these things.
Yeah.
And says a word that doesn't even. I don't even think it exists. But he thinks it does.
Impressions, it's funny because you literally have to get the same mannerisms down.
Yeah.
You got to do the Trump. You got to.
You're doing it right now.
Yeah. We're going to go in. We're going to do a podcast.
But you got to, it's just like, and the Frank Caliendo does the eye squinting.
Yeah.
And he does the Robert De Niro very well.
Oh,
yeah. I can't. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you do it good.
My wife thinks it's hilarious because I always do that whenever we watch movies with Robert De Niro. So I'm always like,
Yeah, I did. I was Chris Farley for a couple Halloweens. And
dude, give us a Chris Farley.
I don't have a good one without getting up and making a spectacle of myself.
Make a spectacle. You don't get up and just do.
I'm the president, not a clown, Chris. I'm not a dancing seal. I can't do it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it at Thanksgiving. I think there's gonna be some liberals there, so it's gonna be gravy flying.
And the funny thing is, you said you're a libertarian.
I am a libertarian.
So that's even funnier.
Yeah.
You're gonna piss off liberals, and they're gonna think you're a Republican. And you're like, nah, I'm right down the center of the aisle.
Yeah, I lived in the gayest city in almost the United States. I lived in Minneapolis for 10 years. I lived with 3 gay guys, but I'm pro-gay. I'm pro-gun. I'm less government, more people. Give people their rights. It's just just be a kind person. Because most of us are center left or center right. We agree on multiple sides.
I say that too. I say a lot of people are very right down the middle, and then you like maybe on one side or the other, very, very briefly on one side, or very. I got a toe in there,
or that line changes because I was like pro Bernie back in 2016. I caucused for Bernie, and the amount of like at the basic level of like corruption. To basically to get Bernie out and Hillary in was like opened my eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
And was like a big wake up call because, we were at the caucuses and people were voting. It was clear, like 70-30 Bernie. And somehow it got reported that Hillary won. And I heard that across the state. And it was literally, and then the way that, people just get usurped out of the situations, that like there wasn't even a Democratic primary, there's like
Crooked Kamala's in.
Kamala.
Sleepy Joe. I didn't say that.
I told my wife as we had dinner one night and we were driving to the Lafayette. And I'm like, I need to get better at like my Trump impression. But I said, I'm not that good at it, as you guys just heard.
Gotta practice.
I said, well, maybe I should just do like Abe Lincoln or something.
What do you think I'm? Yeah.
407 years ago, my forefathers.
What do you think I do in the shower? I'm literally just washing my ass and just like trumping it up. That's all I do.
Ass is the cleanest.
It's gonna
I've
be a
ever
great
seen.
day. Maybe the greatest. I don't know.
Dude, it's so funny how you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Bushisms were one of my favorite, but the Trump is really good. And you know who does a really good one is actually Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Jamie Foxx does some insane. He does a great Trump. He does.
Yeah.
He has a whole slew of impressions that he does. Yeah.
See, that's a person I would never think that could do impressions would be Jamie Foxx. He's a great singer, fun
He's
actor.
One of the most talented people on the planet.
And you don't even realize it. Yeah.
That's not even a debate. It's
So
just like-
how did you, before we shut this down, because we've been going an hour and a half now, how did you ever realize you were good at the Trump impression? Did you just like try it one day and everyone was like, that was really good?
I think a lot of it, we talked about, a lot of it was Shane Gillis, because I love
yeah.
Shane Gillis. He's like one of my favorite comedians. And then you just, you do it with your friends long enough that you start getting good at it. Like I said, I used to do a lot of really good Chris Farley and, do you remember any of the skits that Chris Farley did?
Well, I mean, we obviously all know the motivational speaker. We know that's one.
Matt Foley. My name is Matt Foley, and I'm an inspirational speaker. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we know everyone knows
rolling
that.
doobies, yeah. So, but he's a lot of acting,
Yeah.
and then there's the Anchorman one. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
He's talking about how he's getting fired, and he's in front of the camera, and he does quotes, and he goes, "Just because I don't wash properly and I eat my scabs. And
Yes, I have seen
and I
that.
scare children."
I didn't know that was called the Anchorman one.
Well,
I
like
didn't
he's
know.
getting fired from the station, and he's like his last broadcast, and he's like,
Those are great.
Yeah, 'cause
gosh, Joey. Well, it's been fantastic having
it's
you
been
on.
a fun time.
Yeah, can you give us one more fantastic time?
Make sure you
Too many bourbons.
Try it again.
subscribe to the podcast. It's probably the best podcast I've ever been on. It's the only one, but it's the best.
It's going to be huge.
Christopher Jacobson and Trump out.
Well, Joey, this has been fantastic having you on.
It's been a great time.
I like that this was a longer one because I knew that I didn't think we are going to make this go an hour because I always say an hour is probably where it should cut off. We're an hour and a half. I don't care. I'm
Hey,
like-
well, if you're having a good conversation, it's whatever.
And we went over not only your life of going from casino to car salesman to car financing. You gave us the behind the scenes on some of the gambling and how that all works, but you gave us behind the scenes on how financing works or warranties or service contracts within the auto industry. But then you also told us about, for a lot of people who are listening to this, they're going to know what Dahl is.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if they listen outside of the area of a couple states here, you're not going to know what Dahl is, but Dahl is a great organization because of the fact that you said they do a lot of community outreach. The president literally knows who you are when you walk down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. I don't think that a lot of people can say
it
that.
blew me away, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's just really awesome to hear those
Well,
things.
and then especially like you meet him in person and you get that, like it's the president, and then he's like, "Just call me Andrew. Don't call me Mr. Dahl. That's my dad." Like,
That's what
he's very like they're all very nice.
Yeah.
Jansen's hilarious. If you ever get to meet him, he dressed up in a banana suit for one of our finance quarterly meetings and did like a dance. Like it was great. No, they're all.
that makes
great.
it fun, though, for
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, it does.
Well, Joey, I want to thank you one more time for coming on.
Thanks
Joey,
for having
Joey
me, Chris.
Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. That's my Italian name.
The two wise men here.
Yeah, two
having,
Italians. How you doing?
But for those who are listening, please like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
5-star this. Go see
Call
Joey.
your mom.
Call your mom.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need advice, just call into any of the finance guys. If you have questions about financing or banking, we are open. We have an open door policy.
Joey, where can they find you, though?
If you go to dahlhonda.com, and then you go to meet our staff, and then you find finance managers. My number's right there. email, call me. I'll answer any questions about either A, buying a car, financing, what's best for you.
Yep.
I can even set you up with a great salesman to help you find your next car.
Sure.
We can sell any of the cars from any of our 13 dealerships to you. We can find you the right car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I can go get a car from La Crosse,
Yeah.
from Sheboygan. If it's the right for you, we got you.
Well, and for those who are listening, look down the show notes. I got Joey's information plugged in down there. So if you ever want to go buy
My
a car,
OnlyFans.
go see him. That's not your OnlyFans. It's your only doll.
Yeah,
My only dolls. And again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, get this podcast out there because we have information coming from all over the place. You never know who's coming on next week. But for this week, it's been Joey Terhune.
Yes.
Joey
Been a great
Bag of
one.
Donuts.
Maybe the best finance manager. I don't know.
Joey, I want to give you one big cheers here, bud.
Cheers.
And we'll see you guys next week.